Welcome to the Silverwood Saga podcast. Follow the story at silverwoodsaga.com. Now it's time to step back into the forest. As Jay gets to work, the weight of the broom in his hands feels heavier than it did before, almost as if the mundanity of sweeping the streets has settled in more deeply after the wild night he's just had. But as he works, the aroma of the coffee lingers in the air, and the faint memory of Silra's smile, her teasing words, stays with him. With every sweep of the broom, he can't help but think about Silra's words, about there being more to him than just this job, more to life than sweeping the streets. As the day drags on, Jay finds himself sweeping the streets mechanically, his mind far from the task at hand. Every time he hears footsteps, his heart quickens, and he glances up, half expecting to see Silra strolling casually down the street, maybe with that sly smile and a teasing remark. But each time it's someone else, a passerby, a merchant, or a fellow worker. The streets are busy, but they feel emptier somehow, like something vital is missing. He replays the night in his head, from the tavern to the ruins, to the quiet moment at the harbour. The thrill of it, the connection he felt with Silra. Everything felt like a dream, and now that she's gone, reality feels a little duller. As he works, more doubt begins to creep in. Maybe he should have asked for more, pressed her to stay, or even taken a chance and left with her. He starts to wonder if he let something slip through his fingers, something rare, something that doesn't come around often. But then again, how could he have known? His thoughts keep looping, they are maddening. Each time he looks up, hoping to catch a glimpse of her, that feeling gnaws at him. Maybe he will never see her again. The reality of his routine feels heavy now, like the weight of that broom is pulling him back to a life where adventure is only for the stories he overhears in the tavern. But deep down, even with the doubt hanging over him, there's still a flicker of hope, a small stubborn part of him that believes he hasn't seen the last of her. He can't shake the feeling that fate isn't quite done with them yet. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, he pauses, leaning on his broom for a moment and looking out at the streets. The city bustles on, unaware of his thoughts, but inside he knows things have changed. He heads to a hut that squats at the edge of a yard by the docks, its wood darkened by years of smoke and damp. The door creaks as Jay pushes it open, the smell of stale pipeweed and spilled ale drifting out. Inside, Gerald sits hunched at a scarred desk, his thinning hair slicked back, his scowl as permanent as the ink stains on his fingers. Jay sets the broom down against the wall, shoulders heavy. Gerald doesn't look up right away, then mutters with a sour curl of his lip, "Oh, so it's, can I get paid now, Gerald? Not fuck off, Gerald, is it?" Jay exhales through his nose, tired. "Gerald, I'm not in the mood today." That earns a sharper look. The man squints, rubbing at the corner of his jaw. "Was it the girl I saw you with earlier?" Jay doesn't answer. He just extends his palm, waiting. Gerald rummages through a drawer, the scrape of coins loud in the quiet, then drops a few coppers into Jay's hand. "You shouldn't be hanging around with a girl like that. You're a street rat. A girl like that's just being polite to you, nothing more." Jay's hand closes tight around the coins, the edges biting into his skin. He turns for the door. "Goodbye, Gerald." "Don't spend it all in the tavern," Gerald calls after him, already bent back over his ledger. He heads to a stream to wash away the dust and grime of the day. The cold water wakes him up, sharp against his skin, but it does little to settle the restless thoughts in his head. He replays every moment from last night, every word, every glance, every step. And one thought keeps hammering inside his mind. I have to find her. With his few coppers collected, he makes a quick stop at a stall. He buys a stale piece of bread that he tosses into his knapsack, now the only thing holding all his worldly possessions. There's no real plan yet, just a feeling that if he doesn't try to find her now, he will regret it forever. His feet carry him to the only place that makes sense, the tavern where he first met Silra. It's busy again, full of loud voices, the clink of mugs, and the general hum of people unwinding from their day. He scans the room, eyes darting to every corner, hoping to catch a glimpse of her. But she's not here. He takes a seat near the bar. The bartender looks at Jay, narrowing his eyes with a gruff huff. His demeanour quickly shifts from curious to annoyed. You've got some nerve coming back in here, he grumbles, crossing his arms. You didn't settle your tab last night. Jay blinks, caught off guard. In the whirlwind of last night's events, he hadn't even thought about paying for their drinks. He quickly reaches into his pocket, fishing out the remaining coppers he earned today. It's barely enough, but he slides them across the counter. Look, I was distracted, Jay admits sheepishly. I just need to know if you've seen her, the elf, blonde hair. She was here last night. The bartender takes the coins without much enthusiasm, eyeing Jay as though deciding whether or not to throw him out on the street. Finally, he lets out a long sigh, wiping the counter with a rag. I remember her, he says reluctantly, but I don't know where she went, and frankly, I've got enough problems of my own. His words land heavily, and Jay's heart sinks further. The weight of uncertainty presses down on Jay, and the brief hope he had flickers out. Now, the bartender adds with a pointed look, unless you plan on racking up another unpaid tab, I suggest you take your business elsewhere. Dejected, Jay nods and turns to leave the tavern. The noise and warmth of the crowd fade behind him as he steps back into the cool night air. The road ahead feels darker now, less sure, and panic creeps back in. How can I find her if I don't even know where to start, he thinks. Standing on the street, he takes a deep breath. He looks around, but the familiar streets offer no clues, no signs of where she might have gone, leaving him with a vague feeling that maybe he's made a mistake. But the thought of giving up feels worse than anything else. With his knapsack slung over his shoulder, the stale bread tucked inside, and no clear direction, Jay decides to take a chance anyway. He mutters, if I don't start somewhere, I'll regret it forever. Turning toward the road that leads out of town, he starts walking, heading towards the gates, towards the darkness, and he hopes towards her. Thank you for listening. I'm creating and sharing this story on my own, so your support genuinely means the world to me. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it and leave a review wherever you listen. Those small things really help support me. For updates, or if you'd like to read the story instead, visit silverwoodsaga.com. Thank you.